10 up.
Where did you first tell yourself that?
I ended up about 14 and a half, 15.
Yeah.
Yeah, because 12 and a half, there was a hill, they made a move, and I was feeling great, and then my right quad started hurting, and it's like, it's hurting now, but I don't know how bad it's going to hurt at the Newton Hills and Heartbreak Hill. So it's going to be like, oh, it's going to be an interesting day, you know, and keep pushing and pushing, but at the same time, you know, you get encouraged when people are in front of you on the wheelchairs, or people are doing for charity and things like that, or uniform, and they tell you, go Meb, and you're like, I'm trying, but at one point I salute the military people, and so that we inspire each other. We take one step at a time, 1 mile at a time, and ultimately you just want to get to that finish line and as healthy and one piece as possible. But yesterday, I could not have gone any faster. That was it. You know, it was just done. And as a competitor, sometimes you are passing people, they pass you back. You know, you're trying to get that top 10 maybe, and you know, you try to impress them, you try to pass them by quickly, and then they give you a little gap. Side of this room is like, I think I got them, and then they bounce back and then get you again, and coming to the finish line was a thrill of a lifetime, just because of the Bostonians and all the spectators just saying thank you for what I've done 2014, and that could keep going, and it was very loud, and obviously coming to the finish line was a relief because I was just spent, and my quads were going like this. I don't want to go to the hospital. You know, just that's how it is. Sometimes you hit it out of the ballpark and you feel flawless and it goes really well, and other times it's challenging. But when you overcome these obstacles, you can do great things. And I said, you know, I've got one more in New York to finish out my 26 competitive marathons, and I'm like, why did I sign up for that one? And then I said, you know, I'll maybe come back and do it for a charity or bring awareness to different kind of events. Eventually, I'm retiring from competitive, but running is in my blood. I love to run, and whether it's half marathon, maybe charity for full marathon, I'll still have to do that. But then I'm like, man, it hurts. But when you're doing it for a greater cause, it's not going to be hurting, and you can slow down a little bit, I think. So here we are, you know, and recovery is important. You know, right away, immediately, fluid, and I usually have my generation you can. My daughters were there. The first thing I had probably before generation you can was Snickers. So Snickers, you know, they know that I don't get away from my side, but they were all three of them had pieces waiting for me, so that's what I had, and I had generation you can.
So generation you can right here.
Yeah, let's go for a room. Yeah, good to see you, and yeah, that's the best thing you can do. And then it's a celebration, so you want to treat yourself eventually, but probably the next hour, first hour that you finish, you want to get the real stuff on you, whether it's you can, or hydrate water, or electrolytes because you're just sweating. So, and then after that, you know, I had my first beer, my 6th beer ever. I mean, I'm 42, so
You're legal.
I'm legal. I finished it yesterday, semi-island. So, you know, you got to treat yourself, and you know, I had a little light massage. Just you don't want to get very light stretch. Walking is good. You know, sometimes, you know, even if you have to do backward because it hurts so bad. But you know, going down the stairs, I'm like, I can't believe it. Then you're going like 5-minute pace or one not, and it takes you about 8 minutes to go 5 stairs. One stairs up the building. You know, it's unbelievable how the body can just shut down, and you know, so this. I think the one big thing you might make a mistake is coming back too fast.
Yeah.
26 points miles is a journey. You'd rather be 2-3 days late than 1 day too early, because you want to recover while you've been training. It's not going to leave your body. It's going to be there for 3 weeks. You might not feel smooth. You might feel a little lethargic after you come back. What did I ask you to take out? We debate. We are a type A personality. We want to do this, and that, right? And don't worry. It takes a recovery. You know, enjoy the things that you missed out on the training to get ready for Boston or whatever the other marathon is, and then come back and you want to miss it. So, oh, that was my body's recovered. I want to go for a run, and then you're gonna get ready to come back stronger and faster and do it really well. So, you know, I used to be a big fan of ice bath in terms of recovery. I'm full for ice and salt wine would be really good right now. Because I was hard rock for that, but my wife is like, oh, she saw me walk really bad. I mean, yesterday I was probably 90-year-old. I'm probably 80-year-old today. But she says, we're going to put ice bath. No way you're going to put me in the ice bath. I'm over it. I'm never doing it again. So there's some things, and I got, like I said, a stretch, very light stretch, and foam rolling is always great. You want to be able, and I have, softball. Sometimes you want to get your boots, your IT band, light stretch on the stairs for the calf. So you don't want to do too much because your body has to work. And if you are sore somewhere, the knees or the Achilles or the calf, throw a Ziploc bag ice in there and do a little bit with tape it if you have to walk around, or I'll work even sometimes kind of tape it around, and you can when you're running a computer and things like that, they can be able to just recover and be able to just be comfortable with it. Because as a student, UCLA, when I had a middle contest, I would have an ice bag, and when the concession where they sell food and things like that, I would get ice, and if I had 5 minutes break, I would put ice and just wait for it, do it before I go to the next class. I don't want to be going to class like with the ice bags and stuff. So, and the same thing here. Right now, I just try to put ice on my knees or calves or hamstring and just take it around. I know when you get work is difficult, but even when you're cooking or you're watching TV and things like that, try to do this, because ice is one of your best friends. It's not ice bath anymore. Be practical in certain areas that you want.
Yeah. And everyone, there is no set blueprint on how to recover. Start running in 2 or 3 days or 2 or 3 weeks. You really got to listen to your body, because it's different every time. This was marathon number 25, right? And you can tell it just.
It was like my first one.
I
never wanted it again.
You start to feel better, and you go for a 4 or 5 mile run, and you feel good, and then sometimes you go after that first 3 or 4 mile run, and you don't feel good, and that's when that sends you that signal to back off.
Absolutely. It's all about preparation. Preparation is the key to success, and the lady that ran the PR. Where was that PR over there? Tricia, you guys could probably go for a run. I was at the BAA award last night. Who went to the BAA award yesterday, or somebody showed up? Those guys were running to the podium, and I'm like, I can't even walk, can't even get out. So everybody have a way of of preparing. And when Athens, when I won the silver medal, or New York, and probably Chicago, when I did it, my second one. Those were the smoothest. And in fact, after Chicago, I went for a race that I pulled down after a marathon. That's the only one. But so this one, the preparation was not great. So I know I'm gonna struggle for a few longer days than I've done before. So sometimes you see as when 2014 when I won the Boston Marathon, people say, "Oh, he's so energetic. He's so happy that he can run the whole course again." Definitely can. I'll just that. For the crowd and be able to do it, but then the next day is the worst pain ever. And yesterday reminded me of my first marathon. I hit the wall really hard, and whenever you go slower and slower and slower at the end of the race, the recovery is going to be slower and slower and slower. So when you are thinking of racing the next marathon, try to finish faster, because if you finish faster, you're going to recover faster. But you are among where you can set your watch and run your own pace. Whereas yesterday we were trying to hammer each other and drop each other and get out of the body going all over the place at the end of the run. So be mindful of you. Set your goals to the pace you want to go, and you'd rather run the first half slower and then finish strong, because this is going to be the same thing with the recovery. You're going to have a great experience. You're going to finish strong. You're going to be feeling great, passing people versus that person catching up to me, I can't have any more energy, so that's a different thing.
So your first was New York.
Yeah.
2002. What do you compare New York to Boston? I always think, I think they're both tough courses, but something about Boston just tears you up. It's a net descent. I don't know how.
Well, they're very similar in terms of difficulty. Boston been a little bit downhill. You know, you're excited, you're a narrow road, and you have people just around you. You probably get out of your comfort zone early on and say, oh, this feels great. You got a little caffeine and all that stuff. And then at the right time, it hits you. You know, you got these hills, Newton Hills, Heartbreak Hills, and my quads were shot yesterday going through this hill. I'm like, don't spasm, I'm getting a cramp out, and you might have to walk. That's, you know, fine line on borderline. Whereas New York is, I really believe New York is more like a 24, 23 mile race, because going up that bridge, Verrazano Bridge, you're like, you know, don't want to start too fast. Life is about patience, marathon about is patience, and New York, make sure you start patiently. Because you're like, oh, up the hill, you know, it doesn't matter what I run this hill, and then downhill, I gotta be careful still, and then that first, the third mile, getting into the rhythm, and then trying to maintain the pace. But then the hills are not as big as Boston's. You know, they're rolling a little bit at the end, so it kind of beats your body up, but not as bad as, you know, from 17 to 21. You know, up and down, your body get beat up. So similarity-wise, difficulty-wise, they're similar. But 23, 24 race versus very exciting fast start and big hills and that little downhill. I mean, I don't know. I was just driving on Hartford right now. I said, that's a hill. Doesn't look like it. That's not a hill. There's no moments, you know, when you heard it pretty bad. And like I said, but then, like when I was winning 2014, that was not a hill. Throwing the crowd, you know, you spring it. But when you struggle a little bit, then anything becomes a hill.
Yeah. So I say I've learned lessons from you. When you turned on Hereford, you were smiles the whole 600 meters to the finish. Everyone said that. You know, I didn't get this, I saw it on TV, I think it was Steve Mott of that on the course, but everyone said, as soon as you turn on Boylston, they could see your smile all the way down the finish line. You smiled the entire Boylston. And that's what we should do. You were having a tough day. So that says a lot to get that smile out there. But you don't take things for granted. You know, we're lucky. And then after you finished, you went over and greeted Martin Richards' family.
Absolutely. I mean, when you talked about earlier about the upbringing from Eritrea, where I was born, you know, difficulties. They didn't even have a chance to go to school. They didn't have enough food to eat, and what you have to eat. Dig deep down in the dirt where you can water, you can eat it for mineral purposes, and then you learn not to take anything for granted. You know, you don't throw food away, and it's an honor and privilege to be here and be able to run among of you. And you know, even though we struggle, we do something that we love. We do something that we're doing for greater cause and feel good about it. Yeah, it's not your best day, but at the same time, imagine how many people love to be in your shoes, or my shoes. So you have to bring that smile to just say, you know what, celebrate it, because in about, like you said, the last 600, 700 meters, it's going to be over. It's going to be a relief, even though you want it to be 200 meters. And I don't want to block. But we all are. But at the same time, you know, to just, I was hurting pretty bad, and then there was one picture that I think the San Diego PBS showed. It was just like, I was done, finished. And you know, but at the same time, you appreciate the people that came to support the crowd, and to be able to meet the Richards family and Solomon, the charity team on Friday, and I got to know them. Got an email from them yesterday, and we have given, you know, fund for the Martin Richards Fund also. The three victims were spectators just like me in 2013, and at the time I had an 8-year-old daughter. I cannot even imagine what they're going through, and you know, with Martin, and so it's personal, and try to get connected to them as much as I can. I haven't met the other family. I still think if I put my head, I'd love to meet them, and if that's their wish, because every time we run the Boston Marathon, that's going to come up. And the Richard family has embraced it and said we want to do something positive, but I'm not sure if the other three family have done that, or we should even invite them to come, because we live through their spirit. We think about them, we want to celebrate them to the best that we can, and it was my great honor and privilege to write their names, all the 4 victims, when I won the Boston Marathon. And I said, what should I do the night before? I was thinking of having the cross, have their picture in, and ever asked me, many runners, to write inspirational notes on the bib, that's how I got that idea from, and I wrote the victim's name and carried through 26.2 miles, and every day I was thinking about them in 2013 to 2014, and so yeah, I hope we can do that because it's something that is positive and that we can go out and say, hey, we want to celebrate your family part of it, because I think with the Mark and Richard, they've done that, and it was similar with the others, whatever their hometown might be.
Yeah, our running community is pretty powerful. This race raises over $30 million charity in one day. It's incredible. Dana Farber, Jimmy Bond, Martin Richard Foundation, it just goes on and on and on. And it's a big part of this race, and it's a big part of this community and what it's all about. But I wish I could have been there on her to see that. I got a good story on her for my girlfriend Trish. Her first boss was 2014. She came up, 2014, right? Yeah. She came up Hereford Street and she was going to smile all the way down Boylston Street. And you know, they created cursing in the city of Boston. You guys know that. They don't know that, they did. So she comes up Hereford Street and she's thinking, I'm going to turn left and just smile 600 meters to the finish line. She didn't know there was a guy on the corner. And he looks right at her and says, you're about to finish, I'm going to say freaking, that's not what he said. He said, you're about to finish the freaking Boston Marathon. She cried all the way down Boston. And that blue line, I think you said there was a mascara line. Cried the whole way. You can't there's so much stuff that goes on in this race. I mean, this city just comes alive. I can't imagine what it's like being in your shoes when every spectator on the course actually knows you. The rest of us are happy when people just go runner. No random spectators on us. You gotta hear that golden Meb non-stop for 26 miles. It has to be the greatest skill.
It absolutely is. I mean, to be able to, in 2014, to have the Boston Strong, not struggling, given whatever, the best that you can make, you're thinking about the competitor, just push, and when people let you go, you're like, well, I'm going to make you earn it, You're going to catch me, you're going to make you earn it. And then, especially yesterday was pretty special because all people could say throughout the course was thank you. And, and they had a sign that says, maybe our hero. And that keeps you going. And, it was a really, really hard day for me yesterday. But at the same time, coming to the course, get interacting, they have a sign, give them thumbs up and high fives. And, finishing on Boylston yesterday was pretty incredible. And, you want to try to enjoy as much as they soak it in because as an elite athlete, it's a great honor to represent our country, to represent the sport of running. Every day, not just in training, sometimes I train in Mammoth Lakes and it's all you can see a few deer. There's no human beings there, But when you come to Boston or New York, it's going to be mass crowd and you soak it in. And, I do the cross, they're going to give me the strength, whether I'm training in Mammoth Lakes, nobody's watching, or when I'm making that left turn on Boston. And we have a very unique sport, and that's to be able to share each other's inspiration and each other's stories, and to appreciate what we can do and stick together and show the resilience that nothing can be taken away from us. And to be able, I was in a press conference this morning with the director, the race director. We are back. We're back to the full strength. We can't get the flights back, but it shows that yesterday was just another incredible day for the 121st of the Boston Marathon. And, we're going to keep going and hopefully we can pass it to the next generation and keep it going and come back and cheer them on or participate. So it's a sport that we can do at any age, at any level, and it's unity. I mean, it's amazing that how we can get collectively and with all the situation that is going on around the world and around the country, but we are family.
Pretty peaceful bunch of people. When I look at this
crowd,
when I look at this crowd, one of the things I think of is Catherine Switzer yesterday being really historic because in 1965 there were no women, and at that point there hadn't been a woman on the Boston Marathon course running. And then in 66, Bobby Gibb did it. Of course, 67, Catherine was the first one to do it with a bib number on, and they tried to remove her. And yesterday she finished, she gave me a hug at mile 20. It was pretty cool to get a hug from Catherine at mile 20. That didn't hug me, he went to Catherine actually took the time and hugged me.
She said, Barty, Barty!
She looks so great, you know, I'm thinking, this woman's 70 years old, she was so happy out there. And she was taking it all in. And her time was very similar to what she ran when she was 20 years old. It's hard to believe. She ran 4 hours and 40 minutes yesterday, and I believe her time in 67 was 4:41, I believe, 4:44, something in there. Very close. So for her to come out at 8:70 and just celebrate, and that's really what she did. And look at all the women on this film. This talk would have been done in 1965. Different people. I was only 10 then, but we weren't born, right? You know, there would be no women here. It's hard to imagine because right now, you know, actually in the U.S., it shows statistical data. There's more female running than male runners. There's more women running than men. And you guys are taking over our sport, and that's the coolest thing. I didn't see the final stats, but I know it's going to be right around 44 to 45% women in finishers yesterday. And it's only a matter of time, maybe 2 years, till there's actually going to be more females finish the Boston Marathon than men. 52-year change, you know, if it happens in 2 years, it'll be over 53 years that change, and that's unbelievable. And your daughters, I mean, that's the coolest thing to happen. You as a dad to have daughters. Opportunity. You gave women opportunity, and they opened up the door and took off with it. Catherine was living proof of this.
The pioneer. I mean, that's be able to just say fearless. 261, 262, and
261.
261.
Yeah.
She's getting honors. They're going to retire that number this afternoon, sometime in the next hour or two, I believe. And I just saw her at the press conference, and yeah, what an example. You know, sometimes you're hesitant. Should I do it? Should I do it? I like to know what was her mindset. You know, I know she didn't show up to the corral. You know, because otherwise they take her out. You know, and how to mend in and all those things that she used, and how long she planned that for, and all that stuff. And look at what happened here. But it starts with the first step, with the first race, and my hat's off to her and to all of you who are able to, show example to just the next generation. As it was Title IX with the athletics and things like that in college. So, it's just a beautiful thing, and sometimes that change at the beginning is super, super hard, but it's once you do it, it's courageous. Yeah. And I don't know if you guys have time to document. I mean, the documentary is pretty awesome. Her boyfriend at the time knocks the race car. He was a football player or something, knocks him out, and she
thank God we weren't her boyfriend.
The confidence to see a lot of this stuff, and so yeah, I mean, this is true. Howie, my brother Howie is her manager as well. He's been working with her and doing great things. So it's just great to see how 50 years later, and for her to be able to see what she has done and appreciate it and to run it. I mean, that's full circle,
Yeah, she was really out there celebrating, which was pretty cool. I think she could run a lot faster. She didn't have all the media interviews, and you know what that's like when you come into town, the pressure, you're lined up, all the stuff you got to do for the media and do your race, and you're always in the spotlight. And she was in the spotlight the whole weekend.
Yeah.
It's amazing what she did. Kind of told recovery. I know we're supposed to touch base on recovery. We did a little, but I think you said it the best. Like there is, if you listen to your body, you're going to benefit from it. I mean, proper nutrition is a big part of it. There's a lot of ice cream at the Cold Stone Creamery or wherever it was, and I get it. You want to celebrate, but I think today you really start being smart about that recovery and how you come back slowly, and then think long term, like you want to keep doing this, bro. I would love it if after you retire, you just go out and do a marathon just to take it all in and do selfies along the way. People can tell it. But I know you can't take selfies when you're up front and everyone wants you to win.
It was my chance yesterday.
Yeah. But to raise money for charity and do that is really cool, and just be part of the whole team. We're just happy that you're part of this great thing.
Oh, thank you. It's like I said earlier, just hydration is the key, and little massages and protein. All you should be thinking about as much as you can today. healthy, and you are what you put in your system, and be smart. And like I think you have to treat yourself. You know, you just work hard, extremely hard, and focus for months of training, and it's okay to indulge yourself. I think I will do that next couple of days, and whatever I lose in a month and a half, I gain in like 7 days. Well, that's me.
Yeah.
And that's what did I do that for? But you just gotta have fun. You just enjoy it, and as soon as you start focusing for the next race, for the next competition, you get back to your routine and you're doing that. And longevity is huge because, especially prevention injuries. I talk a lot about my book that prehab instead of rehab. Trying as much as you can to do beforehand, so you don't have to get injured to stretch. You don't have to get injured with physical therapy, because whether it's once a month or once every 2 weeks, try to do that, because when you put in 25, 35, or 40 miles a week, that's a lot on the body, and it's nice to be able to have somebody you can trust, do massage, just kind of evaluate your right calf or your left glute is tight and this and that, so that way you can emphasize when you go back and say, every run that you do, whether it's 3 times a week or 4 times a week or twice a week, think by the time you say, which one feels the weakest? The right quad, or the calf, and don't go home and use 30 seconds to 2 minutes to be able to emphasize on that to strengthen it, because you think the body and the mind has to be at the same page, and if you feel some weakness, you know what? Don't say, I'm gonna get better, it's gonna get better, because if you don't pay attention to it immediately within 2 days, it's gonna be late. So that's my advice on that.
Yeah. And those rest recovery days, I just don't think people slow down enough, because it really is important. In between a good workout.
They're too young, that's why.
Yeah.
Eventually you'll slow down. When you get older, I need that recovery day.
Yeah. But you can, you really, I know you go easy on those recovery days.
Yeah. Even easy days supposed to be easy and hard days hard, but as I got older, I went to a 9-day cycle instead of regular 7 days, because recovery is as important as hard days. You put in 17 mile, or you put in 15 mile, then the next 2-3 days gotta be really recovery days, and then be able to come back. You guys work, you have a full-time job and all those things, so our job as a professional athlete is to make it effortless, as seamless as possible, but at the same time, as you get older, you need that recovery days, whether now hard. You can emphasize, okay, this week I want to emphasize my long run, next week I want to emphasize my speed, and the next week I want to emphasize race pace. Do that. Don't try to get, okay, I know when you meet with people on Tuesdays and Saturdays, those are the nice whatnot, but if you're not feeling 100%, then get carried away because of the group. You'd rather just, because you're going to be the one that's racing that race, not the whole group. So just take a mental note and say, hey, I want to be able to get to that finish line. I feel strong about my 16, 17 mile run, but I feel like I need to work on my speed, even if you have to go on your own some other time, on Saturdays when you're not working, and you use that to say, okay, I'm going to do the Bart Yasso 800 meters and whatever. So that way you can do that, or you say, you know what, I feel like I'm going to go 5 miles on my race pace by myself, so I can know how it feels and pace myself when it comes to a marathon day. So don't be shy to go on your own. Just have a little music. If you need to give you a little inspiration and nice upbeat, and I always, it's nice to have social and nice to have communities of runners for the long runs or for the recovery runs. But and then sometimes you feel like, okay, let me see what I can the mile run. I want to 2 times a mile maybe, so why not might be. So that way you can only you don't feel like you have to compete against that person or why you wait for somebody else also. So whatever works for you, just keep that in mind.
Yeah, that is awesome. Meb, I think you inspired a lot of our American running community also at the elite level, because there were some great performances yesterday. 2 women in the top 5 and top 4 actually, and then a lot of our guys in the top 10. So that had to make you feel good.
Absolutely. I think 2006, my first time in Boston, was similar to what it was on the men's side.
Yep.
We had, I think, 4 in the top 10 finishes. In 1998, I wrote, when I finished my eligibility at UCLA, I wrote a letter to a few companies and say, give me this opportunity that I know I won NCAAs and I want to help bring back U.S. resurgence back to where it belongs. And the 5K thing, and most of you probably know me as a marathon runner. My daughters were asking me yesterday at the awards, like, did you run the 5K? I'm like, yeah. And at 13-11, I was 4th American ever. And then she's like, how about the 10K? Well, I used to hold the American record.
Gotta educate those kids.
I told her, my phone passcode is that, Trying to explain to her, and then, but people are going to the right. For us, the U.S., we don't put a lot of mileage. You see, my Kenyans or the Ethiopians do really well at 20 or 22, but for us, it's 5K to the 10K, and then eventually can do the 10K, and then to the marathon. So you see those people are doing that, and it's been my dream to be able to do that and to be able to be competitive at high level and help to bring back the elites to the high level has done. It's been an amazing journey, and we help each other and support each other and compete against each other. Sometimes the best of us get as the allow us to be the best because if he can do it or she can do it, I know I can do it because I've done this before. So and for me, most people have appreciated that. I have represented the sport competitive at elite level since '98, almost 20 years ago. So they said it was so searching for you for living through you vicariously, what they say when I get texts and emails. So it's been a fun journey.
Yeah, when you and Dina both won Olympic medals, you both won the 10,000 meters at the Olympic trials. So it really showed that track speed, that track work really paid off in the distance. So I think you guys set this template that some of the younger runners now are going to go after. That you have to be fast, 5,000, 10,000, and then move up to that marathon distance.
Absolutely. I mean, it's I think never, even for you guys, we used to do this. We used to do, when I was at UCLA, we used to do 800 meter pace, a mile pace, 5K pace, and 10K pace. So like we're doing 800, right? The first one, maybe do a 10K pace, and then do the next one, doing a 5K pace, and then 3K pace, and then the mile pace, and then always finish stronger than you did at the beginning. So that way, it's like a race. And I think to be able to do those things, and then be able to compete in the 5K, 10K, I still, did a show yesterday, but I did, but I just do it on Tuesday for 427, one of the mile repeats, and be able to just turn the wheels a little bit, even though, back in the days when I was in classes at then it was probably 408, but now retirement is looking very good. I can't do those moments anymore, but at the same time, you don't try. Sometimes people ask me, how can we improve? Just when you're doing a 6-mile run or 5-mile run, use the last mile to you don't have to do 100 or 150, maybe 200, 2-3 of those. Just imagine you passing somebody or you see somebody, a runner that is in front of you. I'm going to catch that person. Use that as a tool to be able to motivate you to have the turn the speed, and it's not going to take anything out of you. I'm not saying for sprint get a hamstring pull by any means, but use those moments. Maybe fartlek is another great one. Do 1 minute hard, 3 minute easy, 1 minute hard, 3 minute easy. Don't make it super hard, just consistent, fast pace. So that way, when you're making turns or when you're catching somebody in a race, it becomes natural instead of saying, I can't catch that person.
I want to throw out a question at us, and then I want to make sure people have time to get your book and get their signature. So, who's got that burning question they want? Oh, there you go. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Now we'll do these two. Then we'll do this gentleman. I know. What your name?
I'm Alison, and I'm from the UK.
Oh, Alison from the UK.
So a long way to come. It was an amazing privilege to qualify for Boston.
And first Boston?
First time it might
be
once in a lifetime. Yeah, and at the same time as qualifying for Boston, I managed to get myself what the London Marathon call a good for age place, which my 3 kids think is hilarious.
Good for age place. I like that.
46-year-old mother is good for her age. So I also have a place for London on Sunday, which is obviously slightly crazy, but I've waited a decade to get it, so I'm planning to try and do the double. So the question is, what would you do between? I mean, obviously I should be resting.
I'll give you my answer, and I'm going to ask that. Do nothing. Till Saturday.
Okay.
Saturday, go out and just run 3 miles, and your legs will come back to life. But I mean, relax, I mean, do things like stretch lately and keep your legs elevated to get blood flow going, especially after you travel back to the UK. Compression socks, things like that. But I mean, nothing as in training. You are fit, ready to go, and just shock yourself how well you're going to run in London. If you don't do it all the time, you actually surprise yourself. Yeah, no, I think you'll have fun. But what?
I'm similar to you. I would say hydrate. Really good. Hydrate, and walk on the plane if you can. And also, I guess the London Marathon will be your training and your competition at the same time. So take time off. You know, maybe walking is the best advice I can just walk on. Not as much, but as little. But until you feel good, so the sun is out. But sometimes the competition and the training will be on the same day. Without weight, so that's all I did. But congratulations, that's awesome.
Thank you.
All right, so one day.
Are we riding?
Yeah.
Down the road. I won't be ready by Sunday.
And the last question is, Craig, I'm going to talk about our global running community. I was asked by the Department of Defense to go to Iraq in 2009 and put on 5K running races on our military bases while war was going on in Iraq. And Chris was serving our country in Iraq. I met him at Camp Tazi.
That's right.
In Iraq. Everywhere I go, this guy shows up. Chris, you're an amazing guy. Thank you.
Oh, that was great.
It was an honor to meet you in Iraq. And go ahead with your question.
8 years later, we're still friends. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
good. No, Meb, I wanted to ask, so you, for example, you've got Boston now, and then you got New York coming up, and one thing I struggle with sometimes is I'll have a peak race, and I'll gain weight or whatever, so I'm kind of asking, what is your race weight, and like, how much does it fluctuate during like training, and then you said like 6 weeks before, you start losing the weight for the race. How does that work for you?
First,
The fighting weight we call.
Okay, there we go.
Thanks for your services,
Oh.
and honored to be here. And also, in terms of training, like I said, right now I was 122, 123 when I came in, pounds that is, and
A lightweight fighter.
that's my racing weight for marathon. At least I like to be 125, or suppose that I get 120, the better, because I just feel better and fluid. The most I weighted is probably 138, probably in like a week, 10 days. So it's later, and I'm like, oh, what did I do that for? And then my legs started shaping each other. Not fun, and then I start really slow, like maybe 15, 20 minutes run, and then eventually every other day, and 30-minute run, and then eventually after maybe, I think probably 2 weeks completely off, maybe 1 or 2 30-minute run. Other than that, I usually don't have time for breakfast in the morning, so I just have a toast, almond butter, and honey and tea, and go for a run. Then I come for lunch, and then have dinner. But when I'm not running, I got the time to eat. Breakfast, whatever I can stuff myself into, lunch, whatever I can stuff into, and then dinner. So I take a lot of calories in, and eating is my hobby. And I'll tell you a funny story. And when I was at UCLA, my exercise physiology professor told me that he says we were doing an experiment, writing down everything that we ate, how much we walked, how much we exercised, and you have to write the calories. And I was consuming about like 6,000 to 7,000 calories. And I said, lucky you run, you have genetics, otherwise you'll be obese. No, seriously, and then that was my wake up call for me, and I changed everything since. They said I always have like pizza, pasta, chicken for dinner, and so when I was poor from Eritrea, I didn't have food, so I would come back for lunch. I would go to the campus, and then from campus I would come to have lunch on campus. You can make your own pizza, whatever you want, rice or salad and yogurt, and then obviously before class I used to have breakfast, French toast, pancakes, and whatever. And then I changed everything because of that study. And then I started having turkey sandwich, whole wheat bread, and a banana just for lunch. I wouldn't even come back. And then in the morning I would have French toast or pancake, one or the other. All he said is, have one, not three. And dinner, the same thing. You know, we were creative. You make your own pizza. That's fine. Do that. You can have that, but I don't have the pasta or the lasagna. And then when in the dorms, I stayed there for 4 years. Life was good in the dorms. And so that changed for me. And then that's when I started winning NCAA titles. And I'm lighter than I was. I'm definitely lighter than I was in high school. I'm definitely lighter than I was in college. And so I don't know if I can maintain that. Next year, we'll see. Who's coming back here next year? You might see me with, I don't know, 10 pounds off.
But it is easy to put on a few pounds, you know, especially when you hit that inactive state, you know, when you're in that after the race and you're just kind of chilling out a little bit. And it's just as easy just to.
My metabolism is 35. Make that be 42. Has slowed down. There's not. And I'm too efficient in many ways because I've been doing this for 27 years. So the calories burned when I'm running, you know, we go, fortunately for me, when I go 6-minute pace or 6:30 pace, my heart is not going too high, you know, and my resting heart rate is 30.
Our hearts are going way high.
So those things, you know, makes enough for, you know, nutrition very hard. And it's tough as it used to be, so I just got to do a lot of sprints, you know, or something. And I think I'm not going to be training full-time for a marathon, so what's going to happen?
I want to mention one thing before we close on Eritrea, country that Meb and brother Howie are originally from. You were invited back to Eritrea by the president of Eritrea to celebrate the 25-year freedom of the country. And out of all the Eritrean citizens that should have been there celebrating with the president, this was the guy. That feels special.
Almost definitely. It was a great honor to be back to celebrate the 25th anniversary. Howard was there, my parents were there, and my two oldest brothers. And, you know, and yeah, he asked me to come celebrate, and we got a chance to meet him. It's an environment where my dad, I've met him before. My dad was very patriotic for Eritrea, and he was happy to come. You know, my mom, it's the first time she meeted him, and have my brothers there. And it was just that what the future of Eritrea is. And, you know, he's a smart guy. You know, the thing is, self-reliance is important to him, and that's what he wants to do for the country. And, you know, work hard. The labor is very, you know, sometimes we hear in the U.S. why we didn't need all the medications that we get or the drive, you know. You want to get tired, run, exercise, work, and you know you're going to go to sleep. You don't need a different medication. Those things, I mean, sometimes, you know, farmers, Eritrea, and, you know, it's all about harvesting and things like that. When you get tired, trust me, you're going to go to sleep. And it was just a moment of a lifetime for me to be with him, and it was a moment of a lifetime when President Barack Obama called me the next day, I believe it was Tuesday, to congratulate me on my victory of the Boston Marathon, and to have this and be invited to the White House to have a dinner with my wife and I, and among leaders of the African and U.S. summits, and to go to having sit at a head table with him personally. I told you a funny story, and we'll go back to that. But,
Yeah.
So I'll come in, and it's like, oh, you know, they introduce you, we kind of come out the door, and then he sees me, and he goes, uh-oh, here comes the fast guy. Here comes the fast guy, and he goes, you know that I used you on the my correspondence dinner? I'm like, yes, Mr. President, you know. You know what I said? I'm like, yes, sir, I know what you said. He's like, I said, an American won the Boston Marathon because Kenya has been a president for 6 years. Took a little credit for that. And then we have paper 25, and we were like, what is paper 25? What is paper 25? We get closer to the stage, we're closer to the stage, and kind of getting into paper 25. We asked him, you know what paper 25 is like? Right here. Like, oh, and the longest we did in here. have that moment, talk about their kids, and when I went back after making the Olympics in 2016, both of them could say that was great finish, and it was great to see your daughters with you at the finish line. So it means a lot. So they were very aware of the athletics, and you know, and to go back to Eritrea. I mean, the CSFO, the president of Eritrea, it's been a great honor, and have my parents there. And you know, there's no perfect country, but do the best that we can, to the best of abilities, and you know, there's room for all ways for growth, but we're willing to learn each day and every day and improve, just like a marathon. The word the best society.
Yeah, that shows your impact, that you literally bring countries together. You have a global impact, and you use.
I love my runners.
Yeah. Use running as that vehicle to take us to this level. That's incredible.
Well, I mean, I would say one more finish with, I'm blank now, with South Africa president.
Mandela.
Mandela. Sports unite us more than anything else. We all have the same journey. We can tell so many journey of that 26 points a month, whether it was about the weather, or whether it was the hill, or the people we saw, or the posters we did, or what was our achievement. That's something that we can connect, you know, and it's a beautiful thing. And we are, you guys know, we're very, very fortunate to have the sport of running, to be able to share that among each other, and brings us together. And I don't know what your religion is, and I don't care, you know, just appreciation for what we have done, and we respect each other, or whatever the pace might be, whatever society or gender we might be. We can get there to the finish line. It's like, you know, we did it. And I wish you guys all the best. Honor and privilege to be here. Thank you for Heartbreak for hosting us and runners.
Heartbreak, and we got thank you, Heartbreak Hill. From Generation UCAN are over there, and
If you haven't tried that product, I would get an ounce of water, put it on your thing, and give it a go. So you'll be recovered by later. But
So what we're going to do now is next time over here, we're going to try to make as
this is Allison Brown
organized
from
of a
Running
line as possible. If you want, you can buy Neb's book. You can get up here and sign it, and then you can go pay the register here. If you do want your photo taken, just have your camera ready. We're going to be fairly quick because Meb needs